The Dominion had ruled the stars for 10,000 years. They had conquered 300 species. They had built an empire that stretched across half the galaxy. No one challenged them. No one dared. High Commander stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Victory. He was tall and thin, with gray skin and 4 eyes that could see in every direction. Behind him, his officers worked at their stations. Everything was calm. Everything was normal. Then the alarm rang. Sub-Commander rushed to the main screen. Her hands moved quickly over the controls. "Commander, we have detected a signal. Unknown origin, unknown species." Turned slowly. In all his years of service, he had never heard those words. Unknown species. The Dominion knew every species in this region of space. They had either conquered them or destroyed them. "Show me," he said. The screen flickered. A ship appeared. It was unlike anything had ever seen. It was large and dark, shaped like a blade. Strange markings covered its surface. Burn marks, weapon damage. The ship looked like it had been through a war. But it was still moving, still alive. Scholar stepped forward. She was old, even by standards. Her job was to study other species, to learn their weaknesses. "I have searched our archives," she said. "There is no record of this vessel, no record of this species." Felt something strange. It took him a moment to recognize it. Curiosity. He had not felt curious in a very long time. "What is it broadcasting?" he asked. Listened to the signal. Her translator worked for several minutes. Finally, words appeared on the screen. "This is the United Earth ship Iron Will. We are on a peaceful journey. We mean no harm." Earth had never heard of it, he looked at. "I will research immediately," she said. Nodded. "Send a scout squadron. I want to know everything about this ship." 3 small Dominion vessels jumped to the location of the strange ship. Their pilots were young and confident. They had never lost a battle. They did not expect to start now. When they arrived, they stopped. They stared. The alien ship was even larger than the sensors had shown. It was 3 times the size of their biggest cruiser, and the damage was worse up close. Holes in the hull, melted armor, broken weapons. Yet the ship was still flying, still functioning. "How is it still alive?" one pilot whispered. They tried to communicate. For a long time there was no response. Then a voice came through. It was deep and calm. "This is Admiral of the United Earth ship Iron Will. Identify yourselves and state your intentions." The scouts looked at each other. No conquered species had ever spoken to them like this. No conquered species had ever sounded so confident. They reported back to. They told him about the ship. They told him about the voice. They told him that despite all the damage, the alien vessel showed no signs of surrender. Listened carefully. Beside him, Warlord laughed. Was the opposite of. Where was careful was aggressive. Where thought fought. He had destroyed more species than anyone in Dominion history. One ship said, "Damaged, alone, far from home, this is not a threat, this is a gift." "We know nothing about them," warned. "We should be careful." Waved his hand. "We have conquered 300 species. We have 10,000 warships. What can one damaged ship do against us?" Thought about this, was right. The numbers were clear. The Dominion was strong. This Earth ship was weak. But something bothered him. The ship had been damaged in battle. That meant someone had attacked it, and the ship had survived. It had kept going. It had traveled far across space, alone and broken, and it had not stopped. What kind of species did that? "We will send a delegation," decided. "We will meet these humans. We will learn about them. Then we will decide what to do." Smiled, "And if they refuse to submit?" Looked at the screen. The dark ship floated in space, still broadcasting its signal. "Then we will teach them what happens to species who refuse the Dominion." Said nothing, but she went to her quarters and began to search. She looked through every archive, every database, every ancient record. She found almost nothing about Earth. Just a few words from a long-dead explorer who had passed through that region of space thousands of years ago. The explorer had written only one sentence about the planet. Avoid this world. The creatures here are too stubborn to conquer and too angry to ignore. Read the words again. She felt a chill run through her body. The next morning, a Dominion shuttle left for the Iron Will. On board were Sub-Commander and Scholar. They were going to meet the humans. They were confident. They were prepared. They represented the greatest power in the galaxy. They were not ready for what they would find. The shuttle flew toward the dark ship. As they got closer, noticed something strange. There were words written on the side of the vessel, human words. Her translator worked slowly. Finally, the words appeared on her screen. "We came in peace, we will leave in war." Stared at the message. She did not understand it, not yet. But she would. Soon the entire galaxy would understand. The humans had arrived, and nothing would ever be the same. The shuttle docked with the Iron Will and waited for the airlock to open. They expected to smell death. They expected to see chaos. They expected broken walls and desperate survivors. The door opened. They saw none of those things. A human stood before them. He was shorter than them, but wider. His shoulders were broad, his back was straight. He wore a clean uniform with shiny buttons. His face showed no fear, no worry, nothing but calm control. "Welcome aboard," he said. "I am Commander Park. The Admiral is waiting for you." And followed him through the ship. They looked around with growing confusion. The corridors were clean, the lights were bright. Crew members walked past them with purpose. Some nodded politely, others smiled. No one looked defeated, no one looked scared. How was this possible? The ship was damaged. They had seen the holes in the hull. They had seen the burn marks. How could the crew be so calm? They entered a large room. A long table stood in the center. At the head of the table sat an older human. His hair was gray. His eyes were sharp. He stood when they entered. "I am Admiral," he said. "Thank you for coming." Studied him carefully. She had met many leaders of many species. Most of them trembled before the Dominion. Most of them begged for mercy. This human did neither. "I am Sub-Commander," she said. "This is Scholar. We represent the Dominion." The Admiral nodded. "Please sit. Would you like something to drink?" A young woman brought cups of a dark liquid. Did not drink it. She did not trust these humans. "We have questions," said. "Of course." "Your ship is damaged. How did this happen?" The Admiral looked at the woman who had brought the drinks. She stepped forward. "I am Captain," she said. "I will answer your questions." Spoke in a calm voice. She told them that the Iron Will had left Earth 18 months ago. They had been exploring new regions of space. Then they had met a hostile fleet. The enemy had attacked without warning. "We fought back," said. "The battle lasted 3 days." 3 days, could not believe it. Most battles ended in hours. "We destroyed their fleet," continued. "But we lost many of our crew, 60%. We have been traveling home ever since." Leaned forward. 60%. You lost more than half your crew." "Yes." "And you did not surrender." Looked confused. "Why would we surrender?" Did not have an answer. In the Dominion, any species that lost half its fighters would give up. That was logical. That was sensible. These humans were neither. Noticed something else. Many of the crew members had scars on their faces and hands. Some had metal parts replacing arms or legs. These were not soft creatures. These were fighters, survivors. "Your ship is in our space," said. "The Dominion controls this region. All species must submit to our authority." The Admiral raised an eyebrow. "Submit?" "Yes, you will lower your weapons. You will follow our orders. You will accept Dominion rule." A long silence filled the room. Then the Admiral smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who had heard a bad joke. "No," he said. Blinked no. Earth does not kneel, not to anyone, not ever. You do not understand, said. Her voice grew cold. The Dominion has conquered 300 species. We have 10,000 warships. We have ruled the stars for 10,000 years. You have one damaged ship. You cannot fight us. The Admiral stood up slowly. He walked to a window and looked out at the stars. 18 months ago, he said, we faced a fleet of 200 enemy ships. We had only 5 ships. We were outnumbered 40-1. He turned to face them. We won. Felt her heart's beating faster. Then we traveled through a nebula filled with radiation, the Admiral continued. We lost 30 crew members. Then we passed through a region of space where the gravity was so strong it nearly crushed our hull. We lost 20 more. He stepped closer. Then we ran out of food. We rationed for 6 weeks. People got sick, some died, but we kept going. He stopped in front of. You threaten us with your 10,000 ships. You think numbers scare us. We have faced worse odds. We have survived worse things. And we are still here. Felt that chill again. The same chill she had felt when she read the ancient explorer's words. You should leave now, the Admiral said softly. Go back to your commander. Tell him what you saw. Tell him what I said. And tell him this: if he attacks us, we will not run. We will not hide. We will fight. And we will make him regret it. The meeting was over. And returned to their shuttle. They flew back to the Eternal Victory. Neither of them spoke. When they arrived, was waiting. Report, he said. Opened her mouth. Then she closed it. She did not know what to say. Spoke instead. Commander, I have studied many species. I have seen the strong and the weak. I have seen the proud and the humble. But I have never seen anything like these humans. What do you mean? Thought carefully before answering. Most species fight to survive. When survival becomes impossible, they stop fighting. It is logical. It is natural. She paused. The humans are different. They do not fight to survive. They fight because they refuse to lose, even when winning is impossible, even when death is certain. They keep fighting. Frowned, that is foolish. No, Commander, that is terrifying. Laughed from his corner. You are afraid of one damaged ship. Turned to him. Her old eyes were serious. Yes, she said, and you should be too. Warlord did not listen to warning. He never listened to anyone. 3 days after the meeting, convinced Commander to teach the humans a lesson. 50 Dominion warships surrounded the Iron Will. They came from every direction. There was no escape. Stood on his command ship, the Fury of Conquest. He smiled as he watched the human vessel on his screen. It looked so small, so weak, so alone. Open a channel, he ordered. His voice boomed across space. Human ship, this is Warlord of the Dominion. You have refused our generous offer of submission. You have insulted our authority. Now you will pay the price. Surrender immediately, or we will destroy you. He waited for a response. He expected fear. He expected begging. He expected the humans to finally understand their place. The response came. It was the voice of Admiral. Warlord, thank you for bringing so many ships. It saves us the trouble of hunting them down one by one. Blinked, was this human joking? You have 5 minutes to surrender, said. We have a different plan, the Admiral replied. We are going to come over there and take your ship. See you soon. The channel closed. Stared at his screen. No one had ever spoken to him like that. No one had ever dared. Destroy them, he ordered. 50 Dominion ships opened fire. Beams of energy shot toward the Iron Will. Missiles flew across space. The attack was overwhelming. It should have ended in seconds. It did not. The Iron Will moved. It did not try to run. It did not try to hide. It flew straight toward the Dominion fleet. Lieutenant Minu sat at the weapons station. His fingers danced over the controls. He was grinning. Shields at 70%, he reported. Weapons, Admiral asked. Ready and hungry, sir. Then feed them. The Iron Will fired back. Its weapons were strange to the Dominion. They did not use energy beams like civilized species. They used solid projectiles. Metal slugs launched at incredible speeds. They tore through Dominion shields like paper. A Dominion cruiser exploded, then another, then a third. The fleet was shocked. They had expected an easy victory. Instead, the human ship was cutting through their formation like a knife. "What is happening?" shouted. "How are they doing this?" No one could answer him. Chief Engineer worked below decks. Sparks flew around her. Alarms screamed. She ignored them all. Her hands moved quickly, rerouting power, fixing damage, keeping the ship alive. "Engine 3 is failing," someone reported. "Then give me more power from Engine 2, she said. "That is not possible. The systems are not connected." Grabbed a tool and ran to the engine room. 10 minutes later, the systems were connected. Engine 2 was giving power to Engine 3. It should not have worked. It was not designed to work. But it worked anyway. That was the human way. On the bridge, Captain studied the battle. She saw patterns that others missed. She saw opportunities that others ignored. "Admiral," she said, "4 enemy ships are grouped together on the left. If we fire a spread at them and turn hard right, we can use them as cover from the others." Nodded. "Do it." The Iron Will fired. The 4 ships tried to dodge. They crashed into each other instead. 2 exploded, 2 were crippled. The human ship spun and used the wreckage as a shield. More Dominion weapons hit the debris instead of their target. Watched in disbelief. His fleet was falling apart. His ships were dying, and the humans just kept coming. "Launch boarding parties," ordered. Commander Park led the first team. Lieutenant Minu led the second. They put on their combat suits and entered small shuttle pods. The pods launched toward the Dominion ships. They were fast and hard to hit. They reached their targets and attached to the hulls. Metal doors were cut open. Humans poured inside. They had never faced ground combat. They had never needed to. Their ships always won from a distance. They did not know how to fight in corridors. They did not know how to fight hand to hand. The humans did. Minu was the first through the door, and Soldier tried to stop him. Minu hit him so hard the soldier flew across the room. "That was for my friends on Deck 7, Minu said. More humans followed. They moved through the ship like a storm, fast, violent, unstoppable. In 30 minutes, they controlled the engine room. In 45 minutes, they controlled the bridge. Park's team did the same on another ship, then another. The Dominion captains did not know what to do. No one had ever invaded their ships before. No one had ever been crazy enough to try. But the humans were not crazy. They were angry. 2 hours after the battle began, it ended. 12 Dominion ships were destroyed. 8 more were captured. The rest fled. The Iron Will floated in space, damaged but alive. Smoke rose from a dozen holes. Fires burned in 3 sections. Half the weapons were gone. But the crew was still fighting, still surviving. Warlord was dragged onto the human ship in chains. He was thrown at the feet of Admiral. Looked up, his face was bloody. His pride was broken. "What are you?" he whispered. "What kind of monsters are you?" Looked down at him. His eyes were cold. "We are humans," he said. "We are the species that refuse to die. Remember that name, because your people will be hearing it for a very long time." He turned to his crew. "Damage report." Stepped forward. Her face was covered in oil and ash. "We are hurt, Admiral, but we can still fly." Then we fly. The Iron Will moved forward. Behind it, the remains of the Dominion fleet burned. The message was clear. The humans had arrived. And they were not going anywhere. The news spread across the Dominion like fire. 50 ships had attacked 1 human vessel. 12 were destroyed. 8 were captured. One of them was Warlord's flagship. No one could believe it. It was impossible. It went against everything they knew about war. Commander sat alone in his quarters. For the first time in his long life, he felt something new, fear. He called for Scholar. She came quickly. Her arms were full of documents and data screens. She had not slept in days. She had been researching. "Tell me everything," said. "Tell me about these humans." Sat down, she took a deep breath. "They come from a planet called Earth. It is a small world far from here. By our standards, it should not produce intelligent life." "Why not?" "Because it is a death world." Frowned, explain. Pulled up images on her data screen. Saw a blue and green planet. It looked peaceful from space. "The surface tells a different story," said. "Earth has extreme temperatures. Some areas are so hot that water boils. Some are so cold that blood freezes. The planet has violent storms, earthquakes, floods, and fires." She showed more images. Creatures with sharp teeth, massive predators, tiny organisms that could kill with a single bite. The life on this world evolved to survive constant danger. The humans are no exception. They are not the strongest species on their planet. They are not the fastest. They are not the biggest. Then how did they survive? They adapted, they learned, they refused to give up. Paused. "Commander, most species evolve to fit their environment. Humans are different. They change their environment to fit them. They build shelters against the cold. They create tools to hunt predators. They develop medicine to fight disease." She leaned forward. "And when they cannot change their environment, they change themselves. They push past pain. They ignore exhaustion. They keep going when their bodies tell them to stop." Thought about the battle, 50 ships against one, and the humans had won. "There is more," said. "I found an old record, very old. It describes something called the human spirit." "What is that?" "It is hard to translate. The closest word in our language might be spite." "Spite?" "Yes. Humans feel a powerful emotion when someone tries to defeat them. They become angry, but it is not normal anger. It is deeper, stronger. They will suffer incredible pain just to prove their enemy wrong. They will die before they quit." His voice grew quiet. "They do not fight to win, Commander. They fight to make sure their enemy loses, even if it costs them everything." Stood up, he walked to his window and looked at the stars. "Can we defeat them?" Was silent for a long moment. "I do not know." Far across space, the iron wheel drifted among the remains of the battle. The crew gathered in the main hall. There were empty spaces everywhere, places where friends used to stand, faces that would never be seen again. Commander Park stood at the front. He held a piece of paper with names written on it. "We lost 42 people today," he said. His voice was steady, but his eyes were wet. "They gave their lives so we could live. We will not forget them." He read the names, one by one, slowly. Each name was followed by silence. When he finished, no one moved, no one spoke. Then Lieutenant Minu stepped forward. He had bandages on his arms and a cut on his face. "They hurt us," he said, "but we are still here, and we are going to make them pay." A murmur went through the crowd. Heads nodded, fists clenched. Captain approached Admiral. She spoke quietly. "Sir, we captured a Dominion ship with a working engine. We could go home now. We could escape." Looked at her. "And then what?" "We would be safe. We would be running," shook his head. "They attacked us. They killed our people. We cannot just leave." "What are you suggesting?" Turned to face the crew. "The Dominion thinks we are weak. They think we are afraid. They need to learn the truth." He raised his voice so everyone could hear. "We are not running. We are not hiding. We are going to repair our ship. We are going to make it stronger. And then we are going to find the Dominion home world." The crew stared at him. "We are going to show them what happens when you attack Earth." For a moment there was silence. Then the cheering started. Chief Engineer got to work immediately. She led teams to the captured Dominion ships. They took everything useful: engines, weapons, shields, armor. They brought it all back to the Iron Will. Worked for 3 days without sleep. She connected human systems to alien technology. She made machines work together that were never designed to work together. When she was done, the Iron Will looked different. It was a mix of human and technology, ugly, strange, powerful. "It is not pretty," said, "but it will fly and it will fight." Nodded. "Good enough." He went to the communication room. He recorded a message. "This is Admiral of the United Earth ship Iron Will. To the Dominion, you attacked us without warning. You tried to destroy us. You failed. Now we are coming for you. Prepare yourselves." He sent the message toward Dominion space. Then he turned to his crew. "Set course for the Dominion capital." The Iron Will moved forward. Behind it, the debris of the battle faded into darkness. In the Dominion capital, received the message. He watched it 3 times. Then he called his generals. "The humans are coming," he said. "We must prepare." Was brought before him in chains. "What do you suggest?" asked. Looked at the floor. All his arrogance was gone. "Run," he whispered. "Run while you still can." Dismissed him. He would not run. The Dominion had never run from anyone. But for the first time, he wondered if perhaps they should. The humans were coming. And he was beginning to understand. They were not ready. The Iron Will jumped into the heart of Dominion space. Commander stood on his bridge. His entire home fleet surrounded him. 200 warships, the greatest force the Dominion had ever gathered. He watched the human ship appear on his screen. It looked different now. Bigger, stranger, a mix of human and technology. It looked like a monster made from the pieces of its enemies. "One ship," said General, his new military advisor. "Even with stolen technology, it cannot defeat 200. Said nothing. He had learned not to underestimate humans. On the Iron Will, Admiral sat in his command chair. His crew was quiet. They knew what they were facing. They knew the odds. "Admiral," said Captain, "they are powering weapons." "I see them." "We are surrounded." "I know." Stood up, he walked to the front of the bridge. He looked at the stars through the main window. "How long?" he asked. Chief Engineer checked her instruments. A small smile crossed her face. "Any moment now, sir." Gave the order to attack. Then he stopped. Something was happening. New signals were appearing on his sensors, first 1, then 10, then 100. "What is this?" whispered. Ships, human ships. They came out of nowhere, jumping into space all around the Dominion fleet. 12 battleships appeared first. They were massive, even bigger than the Iron Will. Their weapons glowed with power. Then 20 more ships arrived, then 50, then 100. The United Earth fleet had come. Stared at his screen. 150 human warships now filled Dominion space. Each one was a monster of metal and fire. "Impossible," General said. "Where did they come from?" On the Iron Will laughed. "I told you those distress signals would reach Earth eventually." During all those months of traveling had been sending messages home, coded signals hidden in normal broadcasts, calls for help that traveled faster than light. Earth had received them, Earth had responded, and now Earth was here. A new voice came over the communication system. It was calm, professional, and very, very confident. "This is Admiral Han of the United Earth Fleet. Iron Will, nice to see you are still in one piece." Smiled. "You took your time. Traffic was heavy. We brought some friends." The human fleet moved into formation. They positioned themselves around the Dominion ships. The hunters had become the hunted. Generals looked at him. They waited for orders, but what orders could he give? The numbers were still in his favor. 200 against 150. The Dominion should still win. But he remembered the last battle, 50 against 1, and the humans had won. If one human ship could defeat 50 of his best, what could 150 do? Admiral opened a communication channel. His voice was broadcast to every ship in both fleets. "Commander, can you hear me?" Answered slowly, "I hear you." "Good, I want you to listen carefully." Looked around his bridge, at his crew, at the faces of people who had suffered and bled and lost friends, at the people who had refused to give up. 18 months ago, I left Earth with 5,000 crew members. Today, less than 2,000 remain. We have traveled across your territory. We have been attacked, ambushed, and almost destroyed, but we are still here. He paused. We did not come to conquer you. We did not come to enslave you. We came to deliver a message. Waited. The galaxy is big, continued. There are many species out there. Some are weak, some are strong. Some will surrender when you attack them, others will not. His voice grew harder. We are the others. We are the species that fights back. We are the species that does not know when to quit. If you attack Earth, we will not stop until one of us is destroyed. He let that sink in. But we are not unreasonable. We do not want war, we want peace. Real peace between equals. He stood up. So here is my offer. Stop conquering. Stop enslaving. Start treating other species with respect. Do this and we will be allies, refuse and... He gestured at the fleet around him. Well, you can see what happens when humans get angry. Silence filled the communication channel. On the Eternal Victory thought about his options. He could attack, his fleet might win, or it might not. He thought about research. Humans who fought through pain, humans who refused to surrender, humans who would burn everything down rather than admit defeat. He thought about Warlord, once the most feared warrior in the Dominion, now sitting in a human prison cell. He thought about 10,000 years of conquest, 10,000 years of victory. And he realized something. The Dominion had won because no one had ever truly fought back. They had won because other species were afraid. The humans were not afraid. Slowly raised his hand. "Power down weapons," he said. His generals stared at him. "Commander," General said. "Power down weapons," repeated all ships. Scholar stepped forward. There were tears in her old eyes. "Commander, you are doing the right thing." Nodded, perhaps, or perhaps I am just old and tired of war. He opened a channel to the human fleet. "Admiral, we accept your offer. We will negotiate." On the Iron Will, a cheer erupted. People hugged each other. People cried. After 18 months of running and fighting and dying, it was finally over. Captain stood next to Admiral. "We did it," she said. "We survived," corrected. "That is what we do." He looked out at the stars. "Take us home." 3 months later, the Iron Will returned to Earth. It was placed in a museum, a monument to human courage. Admiral retired to a small house in Korea. He planted a garden. He watched the ocean. He tried to forget the things he had seen. But the galaxy did not forget. Scholar wrote a report about humans. It was translated into every language in the Dominion. It spread to other empires, other species, other worlds. The report ended with a simple observation. Humans do not know when they are beaten. This is their greatest strength, and it should terrify us all. Other conquered species read those words. They began to ask questions. If the humans could stand up to the Dominion, why could they not do the same? The age of easy conquest was over. Humanity had taught the galaxy a new word: defiance. And the stars would never be the same.